So I want to give a 2019 retrospective for Destiny 2, but I know that this is Destiny 1 gameplay in the back. I don't really have any good Destiny 2 gameplay, so I just kind of wanted to throw that in the background. But yeah, we're going to be talking about 2019 retrospective. It's basically just going to be me rambling on about this year and how it's been for Destiny 2. And we're just going to go over every stage of content, that being Black Armory, which of course came out in, I think, November, December of 2018, but then obviously continued all the way till March of 2019. That gave a Season of the Drifter. Then in June we had Season of Opulence. Then in October we had we had Shadowkeep, the big expansion. Then we had a couple weeks ago on December 10th we had the Season of Dawn. So perhaps probably the most consistent amount of content, if not probably the most amount of content we've ever gotten in a single year of Destiny. Truly a significant amount of content we got in year 2 of Destiny 2 or year 5 of Destiny, whenever you want to consider it. Yeah, let's go and get into it. First of all, we're going to be talking about Black Armory. Now, of course, like I said, this came out in December, I think, or like late November, one of those two of 2018. And I honestly cannot really remember how it was in 2019, like with the content we got in 2019. We might have gotten Niobe Labs by then. I don't really remember if it was in 2019 or not, but let's just talk in general about Black Armory. It really wasn't that good. The Forges being probably my least favorite piece of content in Destiny history. No fucking lie about that. I hate the Forges so much. I think the fact that you have to like go and kill the enemies and then get the ball and then throw it, it's annoying as fuck. I just want to like kill the enemies and move on with an objective. I just find it so annoying with all the different ads around and stuff and how tanky the enemies are. It's frustrating. The teammates that I usually get are complete fucking garbage and have no clue what they're doing. It overall just really, really sucks. I don't like the activities. However, the weapons we got alongside it, there was a lot of really solid weapons. The Blast Furnace Pulse Rifle, the Tartara Gaze, the Sniper Rifle, the Hammerhead Machine Gun, which completely dominated PvP and Gambit for a very, very long time, and is still an amazing, amazing weapon. Probably one of the best, if not the best, legendary machine gun to actually use, depending if you like the Delirium or not, if you like that kind of rate of fire, because Delirium is probably going to be the best for PvE wise. But anyway, yeah. Also, it brought alongside some new exotics. We had the Jotun, the Monarch, I think, came out during Black Armory. The Izanagi's Burden, which is completely dominating the PvE scene right now, and was also really good back then. But the thing that really made it really good was a sniper rifle buff and the Catalyst coming in Season of the Opulence. But and then we have Jotun, Monarch, the Izanagi's Burden, and the Last Word coming returning from D1, and yeah. Last Word quest was really lengthy and overall really fucking garbage. I feel like they just made you I don't know, it felt really grindy and the activities are boring. Now, I don't think that they should be giving you the exotics straight up. I think that's really, really stupid. I want to work for my exotics, but at the same time, I don't want it to be, fucking just some grindy, boring crap. It's not like it's a hard thing to do. It's just like it's a time sink, basically. It doesn't really feel like you're working for it. It just feels like you're just doing a shitload of like boring ass activities to do this kind of. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I'm not like one of those guys who are like, well, I don't think you should be forced to go to the Crucible to be able to do this. No, I think you should. You should be playing the Destiny content, and I don't mind me going into the Crucible. I don't mind that at all. But when it's something that is so lengthy and boring as fuck, like the Last Word quest, it just sucks. And I'm AFK for like a minute here. I don't know why. I was like looking back on this footage, I was like, wow, I'm fucking pissed at myself. Why was I AFK for like a minute? I don't really remember. But anyway, that probably does cover Black Army. I mean, we got the Scourge of the Past raid, which is probably my least favorite raid. But in general, it was just kind of like a meh content drop. For me, I really didn't like it, but I know some people just kind of felt meh on it. It really wasn't good. But it was just more Destiny. It doesn't mean it was good. It was just more. Obviously, there's other aspects to the season that came out, but you had the 4 forges, the 4 different ones, which didn't. I don't know why they made 4 forges because, I mean, really they were just the same. Besides the Berguzio forge, they all were literally just the exact same. I don't know. But yeah, moving into Season of the Drifter. This came out in March of 2019, and basically it revolved around Gambit Prime and the Reckoning new PvE Horde mode activity, which for some reason they are absolutely obsessed with Horde modes in this game. I don't really know why, but Anyway, yeah. So, looking at well, let's first start off with Gambit Prime. Now, Gambit was received really mixed because at first it was received fantastically, and then as the meta set in, people don't really like it. And as it stands right now, people avoid it at all costs. People fucking hate Gambit. I don't know anybody who likes Gambit. I don't. I don't know anybody. Even one of my best friends, he basically he used to love Gambit, and then when time went on, he just started. He hates it pretty much now. But yeah, so. Gambit Prime was essentially, in my opinion, a better version, a lesser of two evils, which is Gambit and Gambit Prime. Gambit Prime is a shorter version. It was a one-round kind of Gambit of a couple different systems. Like you couldn't straight up melt the boss. You actually have to go and kill the the primeval envoys now, and then you can melt the boss. You can't just like straight up do it. But also there was more invasions, which were really fucking frustrating because every single time you entered a damage phase, like I felt like every single time you entered just into a damage phase, you have an invader coming in, and it's so fucking annoying. The invasions are probably the most annoying part of Gambit. I honestly wouldn't mind if they made a Gambit mode or a Gambit PvE only mode. So you have Gambit Prime and then you have Gambit Prime PvE only, and obviously the PvP Gambit steps would need to be done inside a regular Gambit, you know, the non PvE one, but I don't know if they did that because my least favorite part of Gambit is the PvP because I feel like the invaders are just so significantly overpowered to the point where it's just not fun to play it unless if you are the invader. It's just not fun. The Reckoning PvE Horde mode activity was actually kind of fun. It was definitely a big step up from the previous Horde mode we got, that being the Black Armory Forges, but it still wasn't that good. You take a look at the, you know, Tier 1, which was really, really boring. Tier 2 and Tier 3 are a lot better, though. Basically, you go in the first room, you kill a ton of enemies, and then you move on to the bridge. And basically, you proceed up the bridge and capture multiple different, I guess, zones, like from Crucible, if you played Zone Control, or I'm sorry, Control. You just kind of capture those zones. They don't really have like a name, but you get it. You just kind of stand in it. And then you keep moving up the bridge with blockers coming in your way, which basically... they're not really like Gambit blockers, but they kind of block off your path and they'll like stomp you and push you off the bridge and stuff. And so essentially it kind of turned into a super chain fest. So that was a lot of fun. But, you know, usually pretty much forced to have a Skull of Direham Kara Warlock, get in a Well of Radiance for sure, Phoenix Protocol. Wait, no, not Phoenix Protocol. Is it Phoenix Protocol, the one that makes your well last longer, that if you get kills and assists? I kind of forget what the hell it's called. One of those with the... Well of Radiance. Hunter Tether with whatever the leg piece is pretty much essential. And Titans literally had basically no place in it, which was funny as fuck. Because now, of course, they have a place of bubble, but back then they didn't really have a place at all with the Reckoning. But yeah, that was essentially the thing when you're moving up the bridge. And then you got to the boss fight. We had two different bosses with the Echo of Oryx, which was... I don't remember it too much. I know it was really, really boring, but it was cool to see the Echo of Oryx come back. And then we had the Sword Blades, or the Blades, whatever the hell they're called. They're basically two Ala Cools, and it basically is a very, very similar fight to the Sunless Cell in that it's really, really dark. You know, can't see that much, I guess. But that's really where the Sunless Cell kind of comparisons end. But and then, you know, you have the you kill the little taken person. And then the two blades come at you, and they could basically one-hit you a Blackout. And that kind of fucked up the Reckoning was Blackout. Blackout was just painfully trash on there, because if you get one hit by so many different things, it was just... And they overloaded you with enemies, too, so that was also a big problem. But we also got the Outbreak Perfected mission, 0 hour. Holy tit. This mission is so fucking cool. 0 hour is such an awesome mission. Basically, you go back to the old Destiny 1 tower and go into Homecoming mission, but basically reverse and explore more areas. And there's a heroic mode, which involves you to do this really weird fucking puzzle in order to get the catalyst, which they had a catalyst, and you know, it was more of a Whisper the Worm kind of mission, where it was really mysterious and people had to figure it out. And it just came out of fucking nowhere. People didn't... I actually think there was like a catalyst leak or something. But most people didn't even know it was fucking coming. And it was a pretty hard mission too. It had a time limit, of course, and you had to go through it pretty quickly. But with a proper organized team, you can get through it. Definitely, you can definitely get through it. It took me a couple tries to be able to get it, but at the end you're rewarded with a really awesome weapon. I think the Outbreak Perfected, which of course is a remastered version, I guess, of the Outbreak Prime from Destiny 1. It's basically a significantly better version of that. And you also get the Catalyst, which basically makes it so more nanites will be attached to enemies. I'm not going to really go in depth with the Outbreak Prime or Perfected actually was, but it was an awesome gun with an awesome, really cool, mysterious mission, and some pretty cool lore behind it as well. And other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the season. There was not a lot of content. We had the Thorn Quest, which was similar to the Last Word Quest, and that it was really, really bad. And then, what other exotics did we have during that time? I know we had like the some of the new armor exotics, but then we had no new raid. Then we had cool weapons. I guess we had the Night Watch, the Spare Rations, which is ridiculously popular for hand cannons. Last Man Standing shotgun was pretty cool. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot. Soul Survivor's very, very popular. It's a great sniper rifle. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of like really awesome stuff to get. But yeah, I think that's probably going to cover it for Season of the Drifter. I really think that's going to cover it. I don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about. But yeah, June, Season of Opulence. This was by far the best annual pass content that we've gotten. By far. It was actually really, really awesome. Introducing the brand new way to directly get your stuff, like with the Black Armory and how you can go for specific things. You know, like I want to get this weapon, so I'm going to select this, and the next run I'll do of this certain activity, I will get that specific weapon. So if I want to, for instance, Season Opulence, target the new Ostringer IS Luna remake hand cannon, and the new Menagerie activity, I slot it in my chalice, I slot the proper runes for it. Maybe when I unlock it, I'll be able to pick my masterwork. I could pick a range masterwork if I wanted to on it, which was awesome. I can get a guaranteed range masterwork. I can get that Ostringer at the end. I will get an Ostringer, and it will have a random roll on it, so it still has that kind of grind factor to it, but you have actual control over what you get in this kind of activity, which is awesome. Of course, we had that in Black Armory, but this was a much better version of that. And obviously, you got the runes from doing most just activities, I guess, in the game. You just kind of got them. I don't even think you can get them anymore, I'm pretty sure. I think you actually have to have the rune finder buff in order to get them now, I think, because I haven't gotten runes in fucking forever. But you slot these runes into the Chalice of Opulence and you go for it. Basically, that's how it is. Tons of awesome weapons, along with old weapons able to grind into the new Horde mode activity, another one, being the Menagerie. The Menagerie was fucking sick. It's basically Mario Party, but in Destiny, and with guns. So essentially, you get a randomized thing per run. So you go, it always starts off with the lamp lighting, which you basically kill certain enemies. You grab the little balls and you dunk them, and there's like 6 of them. And you do that, and then you can, it's randomized after. There's so many different encounters to go through in terms of like how much encounters there are. So there's one where you run around and collect these, I guess, beams and then dunk them, like the Wrath of the Machine raid at the beginning of it. There's one where you basically take the Harpy lasers, like in the Eater of Worlds raid, and spray them at crystals, and then when the crystals die, there's a boss, and you kill the boss, and you just keep doing it. There's like the Gauntlet from the Leviathan raid, and you face a boss and kill him. Yeah, it's really, really awesome. Or it's more of like a mini boss. But yeah, it was a really cool activity. There was tons of variety to it, tons of different stuff going on, tons of awesome new weapons. You got the Ostringer, you got the fixed odds, which was really, really awesome. I love that gun. And a lot more than that there. And you can also grind old weapons. You can grind the Twilight Oath. Wait, was it the Twilight Oath you can grind? Actually, I don't think you could grind that one. You could grind the Dread Adventure sniper rifle. Just tons of other kind of older weapons you can grind. Aaron Tell, if you want to grind that, which became very, very popular during that season as well. And yeah, it was a really awesome activity. Probably, in my opinion, probably the second best Horde mode activity we've ever gotten. My favorite definitely being the Prison of Elders, but the Menagerie was really, really solid. Really, really awesome. Yeah, of course, also we got the Crown of Sorrows raid, which was really, really awesome. Of course, you have the Gowran fight at the end. You have the new Teraba exotic submachine gun going alongside with that raid, which ended up being pretty terrible. Sorry, I didn't make that thing there. We had the Revoker. I forgot to actually mention the previous Pinnacle weapons, but we had the Revoker sniper rifle for Crucible, and then we had the Wendigo grenade launcher in Vanguard, and then we had the Hush bow in the Gambit. So those were pretty fun to go for. Wendigo is ridiculously powerful. It still is. It's really, really awesome, and I highly recommend going for it. And then, of course, you have some new exotics going on. You know, you have Bad Juju, which was, fucking love that gun so much. Bad Juju's amazing. I've talked about it a billion times over my channel. We had the Lumina. We had the Return of the Truth. And I think we had another one. I kind of forget what the hell it is, but yeah, it was awesome for exotics. Just some cool ass exotics. Lumina being the first kind of support, the true support weapon we've ever gotten. There was some stuff with some support traits like the Lord of Wolves back in Destiny 1, but other than that, it was very, very cool. And yeah, Season of Opulence had some other stuff. We had the Solstice of Heroes event, which was pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. New Solstice armor, which became pretty much irrelevant after the season end, going into Shadowkeep. But that sucks, you know. Made me feel worthless after I grinded for that and was given shitty fucking stats going into Shadowkeep. But yeah, I mean, Opulence in general was a really, really cool time. You had the new currency, you had tons of new triumphs. Tons of new weapons and armor and lore and all the kind of stuff you'd expect out of a new Destiny season. But I don't know. It was good. There's not a whole lot to really talk about when it comes to that season. But yeah. Next up in October, Shadowkeep, the big Rise of Iron style expansion. So it's not as big as Forsaken and Taken King, but it's not as small as a season or a smaller mini expansion like Warmind and Curse of Osiris and Darkblood and House of Wolves. It's in that in-between area, you know, with Rise of Iron. And it was a nice big content drop. We had the Season of the Undying content, which for some odd reason was a season content and not part of the Shadow. I'm still confused by that. We had tons of awesome new systems. I'm not going to have enough time to talk about all of it, but we had the finishers, the season pass, tons of awesome new exotics, the new Vex offensive activity along with its own respective weapons, tons of new weapons and armor and all the stuff you'd expect, you know, lore, new strikes, the new, well, quote-unquote new location being going back to the moon. Very akin to what they did to the Plague Lands and how they just added in some new areas, a new raid, that being the Garden of Salvation, and just tons of other stuff. There's tons of different content that came out, nightmare hunts, then we had the Nightfall, the Ordeals, along with their own respective like modifiers and stuff like that, and higher difficulties of stuff. We actually got more difficulties. The Nightfalls became farmable. You can get materials. Armor 2.0 was a huge new system. They overhauled the armor to make them more customizable and better for build crafting. We had the return of intellect, discipline, and strength as stats. Just fucking tons of new shit in there, and obviously a living shitload of new Eververse content, new events, that being Festival of the Lost, or a new event being Festival of the Lost, and just tons of fucking new content, tons of new shit. But it's really new dungeon as well. The new dungeon was fucking tits. I love the dungeon. I've done it I think like 10 or 11 times now. The dungeon is absolutely tits. New pinnacle weapons or ritual weapons this time. They're not pinnacle and how they have their own unique perks. They are a curated I guess set weapon of perks that are supposed to be really, really awesome weapons. But we had the Edgewise for the Vanguard, the exotic machine gun, the second 900 rounds per minute that we've gotten for legendary, along with the temporal cause. But and then we had the fucking, what was the Crucible one we had? Randy's throwing knife, sky rifle, new sandbox update, of course, buffing sky rifles and making them really, really good. Just fucking hell, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of shit there was in here. New raid was awesome. It's a raid. What do you expect? It has weapons and armor. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't have the really awesome weapons and armor like back in D1. It's still a problem with this game that they don't have their own unique traits and unique aspects to them. But I will do that for another video. I don't know why the fuck they still haven't addressed this problem after all these damn years of D2. But yeah, fuck, I mean, what is there to really like significantly talk about? There's all sorts of different shit. The finishers were cool. There's some new mods. The artifact, there's an artifact where tons of new like mods basically to slot in your armor pieces that enhance your different aspects of gameplay. The finishers can drop heavy ammo and stuff like that, but for half of your super for some fucking stupid ass reason. It was only really good for grinding the Edgewise quest, pretty much. The dungeon was awesome. The raid was awesome. Some of the new strikes were great with the Festering Core, which was on IO, and it was like a Taken strike, Taken Vex strike, and then we had the Scarlet Keep strike on the moon, which was very, very integrated in the main story. The main story, holy fucking shit, was fucking yeah, it was bad. It's probably one of the worst stories we've gotten for sure. It was left on a really shitty cliffhanger that still hasn't been addressed. I don't know why. The darkness was such a cool, concept to really dive into in here because we finally actually got to see them. But no, we didn't really get to see them. Besides the last mission, the nightmares felt like just shitty ass reskins of the other enemies instead of making them into meaningful, different mechanics, I guess, than the regular enemies. We don't even get to go back to their former arenas. Omnigul, we don't get to go back to his arena or her arena, and even though it is on Earth, take a look at the last mission of the Shadowkeep campaign where you face Gaul and you're on that previous thing, except it's like fucking red shit all around. You're in like a nightmare filled zone. They should have just done that with all the different nightmare hunts. Omnigul was just in some random ass area of the moon for some fucking reason. In general, it just wasn't that cool to have the nightmares come back or have all the old bosses come back. It kind of sucked, and it felt really, really lazy. Altars of Sorrow was a definite step back for New Horde mode. I don't know why they decided to make like Exploration Protocol and Blind Well when we just had match-made activities, which match-made is way, way better than these public event-like activities where you have to go in and hopefully find people to do it with you. Or a couple months later, the thing's going to be fucking dead. Not a lot of cool weapons with it either. And then, of course, we had fucking new Crucible maps, which were whatever. They said that they were going to focus on Crucible a lot, but they ended up not really focusing on Crucible. And in general, there wasn't actually a lot of aspects to this expansion that I actually really enjoyed, which kind of sucked because I thought that this was going to bring me back to the Destiny 1 level of enjoyment for me, but it really didn't. It really didn't at all. And this makes me tired of talking about this game now because I was really, really hoping this expansion to be really good, but in general it felt really lazy and boring. I think that's how to really sum up the expansion. There's some really cool content, that being the dungeon, and some of the exotic quests were really cool. I've really enjoyed the Xenophage quests, even though it ended up being complete shit up until Season of the Dawn. The exotics were really underwhelming. Some really cooo concepts. The Deathbringer was awesome, but ended up just being really, really bad. Leviathan's Breath ended up being really bad. And then, of course, we have the Divinity, which for some reason they fucking nerfed it so the damage buff can't stack up other damage buffs now. I don't know why the fuck they decided to do that, but, basically it's now just a glorified crit spot, pretty much. It sacrifices your damage for crit spots on an enemy. I don't know why, but they decided to make it that way. So, fucking hell. The only content that I enjoyed was really the dungeon, the raid, the new Scarlet Keep strike, which was really, really awesome. Going back to the moon was definitely really, really cool. Some of the nightmare hunts were kind of fun at first and then not being really that cool. The last mission, the Shadowkeep campaign, was really, really awesome. Like I said, some of the quests, and that's really it. There really wasn't anything else that I actually enjoyed in Shadowkeep, which kind of sucked, seeing that. But, yeah. Moving on to December 10th, the most recent content drop, that being the Season of Dawn. And I haven't played it in 2 weeks, like significantly. I am fucking bored. The new activity is a very similar activity to the Menagerie. It basically just feels like a, expansion of the Menagerie. But really shit, I don't enjoy the activities. I don't enjoy the objectives that they provide with you. I don't like playing the Sundial. I kind of try to avoid it. The new obelisks are kind of cool. The Dawning was whatever. And I don't know, I just don't like it. There's not a whole lot to talk about right now. Not a lot of stuff has come out for it. But in general, some new weapons, and the same 14 story missions were really cool. I like those. Hint at Trials of Osiris returning. It's cool. I guess it's cool. Um, Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot so far with Season of Dawn. But in general, I'm bored as fuck of Season of Dawn. To be honest with you, I don't really give a shit about it anymore. Uh, yeah, I just don't care about playing Season of the Dawn right now. I just like I said, I don't give a shit. That's the whole thing with me right now, is I just do not fucking care about Season of the Dawn. And I really hope that they decide to improve upon whatever the next season is going to be. You know, actually focus on giving us uh, overhauled Strike and Crucible content. That would be really, really nice. Just Strikes going back to their former glory would be awesome. They're really ignored besides the Nightfall the Ordeals right now. They're really ignored and really fucking trash. Regular Strikes are not in a good place at all, which sucks. Really, really sucks to see that. But yeah, not a whole lot to talk about. Like I said, what the new exotic was, I kind of forgot what the hell the new exotic. Oh, fuck, what is it called again? The fucking Symmetry. That's a cool new exotic. It basically shoots pulse grenades, pretty much, with a certain activation to it. Um, Not a whole lot to talk about, like I said. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Overall, this year's been somewhere from meh to good, I would say. Hasn't been an amazing year, but it hasn't been a shit year, because we've had two shit years. We had 2014, and then we had 2017 for this year, or 2018. It was 2017, 2018. I don't know. Destiny 2 year 1 sucked. Um, then we had Destiny 1 year 1 sucked. I never played it, but I started on D1 or day 1 of Taken King. But I did play the content of the older expansions, so I do know that they're shit. um, and I think that's going to cover it. I enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed talking about Destiny and my thoughts and everything. And unfortunately, nothing has matched the quality of the Taken King, and hell, even Rise of Iron. I think the Shadowkeep has done one thing well, and that has made me appreciate Rise of Iron more. And that's kind of depressing, considering I didn't really enjoy Rise of Iron. But I guess also a big problem is I was going through such a shit time in my life at that point. So that's maybe why I didn't really enjoy Rise of Iron too much either. But yeah, peace.